FPS or first-person shooter games brought a new era of gaming. Unlike most 2D or 3D games like Mario, where you view the character from a third-person view, you play from the point of view of the character you're controlling. This leads to a much more immersive experience compared to third-person shooter games. To differentiate themselves, FPS games compete against each other in different aspects such as gameplay, multiplayer and community, and graphics, with some games focusing on the story. But only one game was able to reach far in almost all of these aspects while giving its players a highly immersive experience. And that game is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019.
What are you calling this task force?
141.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019, or Modern Warfare or COD Modern Warfare, began development in 2016 by Infinity Ward and was released in 2019, obviously, as a reboot for the Modern Warfare series. Out of all the Modern Warfare titles, this game has made the most money at a nearly $2 billion in earnings just in 2020. The latest release from the series prior to COD Modern Warfare 2019 was in 2011, which was the end of the original Modern Warfare trilogy. And ever since that, fans like myself have been waiting for another addition to the series. It has three main parts to it: the campaign or story mode, the multiplayer, and of course Warzone, which is the free-to-play part that came out months after the initial release date. As a reboot, it uses many fan favorites like Gaz, Captain Price, and Nikolai, and it also references old characters that weren't seen in the game, such as Ghost and Soap. But it isn't just some remake with better graphics and the same characters. Modern Warfare 2019 introduces new characters such as Alex, Farah, and obviously the main antagonist, General Roman Barkov. They also do an amazing job in setting up the lore of the game, which we'll get to later. Now that we have the gist of the game, let's talk about what does well. To name a few of this game's nicer qualities, it would be amazing graphics, options for free-to-play players, a great storyline, and the fact that it keeps the same type of gameplay fans enjoy, while also introducing new ways to enjoy it, especially with this new loadout section. It's the type of game that makes you think about it even when you're not playing. I'm not even joking, by the way. I'm starting to see it in places where it isn't there, and I sometimes replicate things that are done in the game in real life. Whether that's a pro or a con is up to you. One thing this game does really well, aside from the typical things we expect from a Call of Duty game, is the quality of the campaign. When I talk about the quality of the campaign, I don't only refer to the graphics quality either, because this campaign is a great combination of storytelling, gameplay, and visual arts. The story shows the reused characters in a new, more realistic way, without straying from the source material. As for the new lore of the game, it feels more real somehow. A week before the release date, studio narrative director Taylor Kurosaki and single-player director Jacob Minkoff explained to journalists that this game is not a superhero caricature, but instead a down-to-earth representation of the realities of being a soldier. And it shows. In the original trilogy, there was always a clear line between the good guys, who you play as, and the bad guys. In Modern Warfare, there are multiple missions that test the player's morals, and even make you question if you're really the good guys in the situation, because that's the reality of war. Now that we know the good parts of this game, let's talk about the bad parts. For starters, people with older or weaker devices cannot play properly due to the high graphics. The community is very toxic.
Oh no.
And there are many hackers in Warzone since it's a free-to-play game. The campaign also feels too much like a DLC. They try to make us feel like we have a lot of control by giving us dialogue options in the game, but they barely change a thing and the ending is always the same. Maybe this is something that they can change in the coming games, giving the players more control and maybe adding different endings based on the player's choices. This makes the game feel like its own thing rather than a DLC, by becoming sort of a hybrid between the standard COD shooter game with a story design similar to games like Detroit Becoming Human. In every COD game, let's say the COD Modern Warfare games, since that's what I played, there are always lessons that you get from the campaign. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, released in 2007, teaches players about what war is like, and that it isn't just the glory that we see in media. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 2019 teaches us about betrayal. And Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, released in 2011, shows us how the world would change if war broke out, by setting battles in war-struck New York and Paris. The thing, however, is that most other FPS games that are about modern warfare teach us the same thing, making these lessons a bit generic. Modern Warfare 2019, on the other hand, teaches us all of the lessons that were shown in the Modern Warfare games. It shows us what war is like not only to soldiers, but also to civilians affected by it. It has its own aspect of betrayal, spoiler alert, and it shows how acts of modern terrorism or modern warfare would look through missions like the Piccadilly mission. They even go as far as to make morally stressful missions. These missions make the player feel uneasy to the point where they can be skipped if it's too much for them. The last game to do this was Modern Warfare 2 in the No Russian mission, and that speaks for itself.
С нами Бог. Remember, no Russian.
The difference is that in the No Russian mission, we knew that we were playing as a bad guy. In Modern Warfare 2019, the morally stressful missions are played while staying on the blurred line between the good guys and the bad guys, making the player question whether the characters they are playing are doing the right thing, and that's war, is it not? After all, one nation's heroes are another's villains. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019 is a game that caters to every player's wants, whether it's the graphics, gameplay, or lore, and it's definitely earned its title as the highest selling game of 2020. Just like many other games, however, there are definitely problems that are still present, and I hope they get addressed in the sequel, which is being released about 8 days from now. With that being said, have a nice day.